Where do we find refuge during times that feel difficult or challenging? Um, and as we talked about last week, uh, we sort of rooted ourselves back into reveling in the inner light of winter. So those of us who are in a colder climate, actually, it's not that cold out. There's no snow, at least here. Usually there is when we do this every year. And it kind of helps to foster that sense of hibernation and quietness in the natural world and such. So we talked about that last week and how that can cultivate then this kind of quality of inner luminosity, the potentiality of vitality, basically, um, which is a reflection of the natural world. So what I thought we would do today is follow up a bit on that and practice the four elements as the Buddha teaches in the Satipatthana Sutra, and that is the text on mindfulness when he teaches mindfulness. The first foundation of mindfulness when we practice settling the mind and coming into breathing and such is to focus on meditating on the body itself. The body itself is a refuge for our practice insofar as it's an anchor. It's a place we can find stability when the mind is just like popcorn popper, literally going all over the place, exhausting us day and night until we find this, what we might call refuge, to settle and allow ourselves to take a break from all the controlling and all the struggling and the striving and the effort and just abide. Oh, taking a breath, letting it go on the exhale at our own pace. Um, and so that in its on its own is a refuge. And as we notice the body changing with the inhale and the exhale, we notice that, wow, we are actually able to deepen within potentially a very short period of time to deepen the experience of refuge in the body. So the Buddha talks about meditating on the body in different ways. Of course, with breathing, we breathe in, we breathe out. Breathing in, I'm aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I'm aware of my whole body. Breathing in long, I know I breathe in long and such. This is all part of mindfulness of body. Meditating on the senses, just attuning awareness. Now, when I say meditating on the senses, I'm not saying, okay, now do some kind of complex thing with your mind to notice the senses. Now, simply open, listen to all of your senses and just see what they're telling you without judging any of it. There was this lovely program that my girlfriend and I were watching over the weekend on incense making in Japan. It's really interesting, and I I've always been kind of attuned to aromatherapy and smell and that kind of thing. So I was really interested in this documentary on how on this ancient art in Kyoto, I believe they make. It's called the Kodo. Kodo ceremony is the art. There's a whole ceremony around incense, just like tea, the tea ceremony in China and Japan. They have this around incense. And what they do, part of what they do in these kind of very sophisticated ceremonies around incense is they tell you don't smell the incense, listen to it. Listen mindfully to the incense and what it's telling you, right? It's a different kind of perspective on that. I loved that. Um, so some of you know already of it. So I've always had synesthesia, which is, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's where I see numbers and days of the week and words and even music chords in colors. So everything has a color, including smells, numbers, as I said. And I've had this ever since I was a child, as far back as I can remember. I see words and colors kind of blend together. So you can imagine that for me, listen to the smell. I was like, don't just listen to it, see what color it is. Anyway, private joke. Um, the point here is that we're not just when we're listening, we're not just listening. When we are sensing the air, the temperature of the air on the skin, we're not just sensing, but it's more of an attunement. It's more of an awareness that is attuning. So mindfulness of body is really this quality of allowing the body to listen in an open, effortless way. And not just listen, but then to be reminded that the body itself is awareness. The body, too, is awareness. It is perhaps more tangible, it's gross level. Everything about the senses is rooted in awareness. Um, the body is also responsiveness and reactivity when we're under stress. So part of this, it has to do with allowing our mindfulness practice to begin with something that roots us, where we can find refuge just by sitting in the body without fear, without worry about what's going to come up in my practice. What are feelings that I don't want to feel? I'd rather just feel good. But rather know that when you are with your breath, with your body, you are in refuge. And when things arise, we just sort of respond to them with a sense of generosity without clinging onto them or rejecting them one way or the other, but rather opening one's mind, one's awareness to simply holding whatever comes. And what we realize is that whatever arises then also dissipates on its own. Such is impermanence of all things. So, so senses, body awareness, it's not just sensation, it's not just hearing, but rather it's awareness being open and allowing ourselves to inhabit that place in this moment. It is attuning to what is here and now. So this is the spirit, anyway, of embodying mindfulness in the way the Buddha taught mindfulness. He also instructed us to meditate on the four elements as part of that body awareness. And the four elements being earth, water, fire, and air or space, um, each one comes with a quality. It comes with a way to mirror our own mind. So, for example, if we consider the earth element in the body, it gives us stability, it's in our bones, it's rootedness. If we consider the water element, which is the body is full of water, we immediately can resonate with the qualities of fluidity, flexibility, and purification, if you will, that comes by just allowing the body to be supple and flexible while also being stable and rooted in the earth element. These, we can experience these at the same time. And then fire, this quality of vitality, of passion, of inspiration to practice, of creativity, ultimately of healing and love. And then space, air, or spaciousness. The underlying quality of our own awareness is that. It is this kind of clarity, this open, what we might call open sky mind. And when we drop in, even for a moment, we can experience that the mind maybe pops open for a moment and abides in this open, clear, luminous state. And we may lose it quickly, or we may abide there for a while, or kind of come in and out. That's natural. Um, so all four of these qualities are things that can be a form of refuge for us in our practice.